And then when you approach Lions Den, or did
oh yeah, let
how
me
did
tell you
that
what
work?
happened. So
Like
Bob,
Ken approaches you to go fight?
No, he didn't want me there. Ken didn't want me there. No,
Really?
no. Yeah.
Ken didn't want you at Lions Den?
No, not at all. He took me in because Bob wanted me to be there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I was a punk kid. Like I was a knucklehead, and so Ken saw that from the outside and was like, "This guy's a knucklehead." And so, when I was sitting in Folsom, maybe the last 6 months, and by the way, when I went to prison, Bob never left. He started writing me right away. He's like, "You screwed up." He's like, "Invest in your body, invest in your mind. Like, you ain't going anywhere for 3.5 years. Start the work." Because when you're done with the work, there'll be opportunity. So fast forward, 3 years, he comes, sits me down in Folsom Prison. He's like, this brand new, sport is starting. It's called the UFC. And he's like, and there's this wrestling group over in Japan. You'd be perfect. By then I was like a 205 pound solid pure muscle. I gained maybe 40 pounds of muscle in prison, just working in the kitchen and pumping iron. And I was massive. So that was option one. And then he said, I love this. I do this in my speeches all the time. And then he said, or you'd be a great stripper. I go, what? And he's like a religious Catholic guy. And he's like, well, no, let me hold on a sec. He's like, your brother made a lot of money and it worked really well for him. And he was able to establish like a thing.
Wait, whoa. Why you, which brother?
I only got one brother.
Frank Shamrock was a stripper, and Ken Shamrock was a stripper?
No.
Both. Hold on, I'm saying it the right way.
Hold on.
You never heard of the Italian Stallion?
That was Ken's name as a stripper?
I was in prison, so I don't have a lot of facts.
Hold up.
But we might ask Ken about it. This is what my dad asked me. He said, listen up, son. I go, because I didn't see it coming. I went to school and college. I went to college in prison. I got, business knowledge and philosophy. Like I got all this education, and I thought I was going to be like an educator. And then Bob's like, fighting and stripping.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Ken. I can't imagine him up and down a pole. He got so much mass. I can't imagine.
Why you want to imagine him up and down?
I don't know. Where you going with that? I don't know. You go left. You go left. No.
That's crazy.
Do men use poles in the strip clubs?
Do they?
I have no idea.
Did you ever take the job?
No. I never
we'll let you finish.
Yeah,
now,
never.
You didn't even try.
There was no tryout.
Right, so strike Frank from the list, but leave Ken there. We'll go back to that later.
But I did do the tryout for the Lions Den and answered your question.
Yeah.
So when I got out back in the day, you had to do the only way in was through the tryout. And that was like this insane, 500 squats, sit-ups, push-ups, leg lifts, and then you had to fight somebody for 20 minutes.
But did you wrestle in high school or anything?
Nope.
You had no wrestling?
Nope, never wrestled.
But your wrestling was great in MMA.
I studied wrestling. Yeah. I studied boxing.
12 submission ground wins.
I studied everything. Yeah. I knew nothing. I mean, I was just and I never played sports because I would get kicked out after the first week because I had all these kind of emotional issues and problems and, end up in a fight. And so I never made it past week one of anything. Except for I played baseball. I was a pitcher for baseball for maybe a season. But, so I didn't understand any of it, to be honest with you. I didn't know what was going on. Wow. I'd never seen the UFC on TV.
Wow.
Never once. I was in prison. I didn't show it in
there.
there.
I always assumed that you was like a great high school wrestler or something.
Never wrestled a day.
Me too. I always thought he came from a crazy wrestling background.
Yeah.
But you know why?
Was so phenomenal.
But I think it's because once I armbarred Kevin Jackson, then everybody assumed he's a great wrestler. Frank just wrestled him of sorts. And so, like, the second that happened, every wrestler in the world's like, you know how to wrestle. And I was like, bro, I don't know how to wrestle. I just know how to wrestle between the wrestling where you guys ain't wrestling.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
this initiation week sounds nuts. It's like
it's
budget
crazy.
Training for line. Wait, 20-minute fight and sit-ups and squats. Who put this together?
It was the old method for the Japanese pancrase dojo. So if you were a kid in the country and you wanted to be a young fighter, you'd show up at the pancrase dojo, you'd go through this crazy workout, and then some fighter would come and just beat the shit out of you. And really the goal was to completely exhaust you, mind, body, and spirit, then to beat you to the point where you thought you were going to die. And then if you quit, well, you weren't in.
Oh, wow.
That was it, because the only prerequisite back in the day was that you don't quit.
Wow.
That was it.
So even if you got your ass kicked?
Don't matter. I got my ass kicked for 20 minutes. Like I don't even think I ever hit Ken. Like he just literally beat the living shit out of me. But there's nothing you can do after 500 squats, sit-ups, push-ups, and leg lifts. You're literally so physically spent. You're just like rubber. And so, yeah, he's beat the crap out of him.
Did he spend a lot of time in Japan at that dojo as well? The one
Yeah.
you living at? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So
Yeah.
he got
And he trained there, and he trained under the, you know, the old guys who created the system, you know, the Fujiwara group. Like, he really had lineage. And so he really knew what that system was. And he was bigger, stronger than everybody else, had his wrestling. You know, he was a monster in that league. Like, he really was.
Yeah, I remember.
With the game we were playing, like, that game was, you know, somewhat perfect for him.
Did you know Pancrase's still around?
Yeah. Yeah, I went to one maybe 5-6 years ago, and yeah, I didn't know it was, you know, fisted and the whole thing. And I was like, whoa, you guys are beating the shit out of each other. They were going at it.
Now.
Yeah, they were going at it. And it was nice to see the evolution, right? To see the whole thing kind of evolve. Because I mean, I knew we couldn't keep slapping each other, you know, after the UFC came out and all this stuff and Pride, you know, it needed to evolve.